Hey, food eaters. We're changing the format a little bit. This is going to be the first Food Dude podcast, and we're talking with Deacon, who there he is, and as you know, there's something going on in the news right now with Xanadu coffee, and he was Xanadu's roaster. And I guess he wants to share some of his experiences there. So without further ado, well, let's have some ado. I guess the Xanadu, he was a friend of everyone. Everyone's friends of him. But I guess he got busted for trying to have sex with a 14-year-old. And then is actually a cop. And then there's there's a woman who's the head of the school board, and now she's involved because she was the business partner. But anyways, that's the backstory. Let's get into Deacon. So how did you first work for Xanadu?
I started working for Xanadu in 2018. I was working at a restaurant at the Hermosa Inn called Lawns, and I had known Randy for a real long time. We made a lot of music and had a good time, so yeah.
And everyone's friends with Randy. Everyone loved him.
Yeah, dude. Staple, pillar of the community.
Pillar of the community for 20 years.
Yeah, trunk space massive, old school wheelhouse massive.
And when did you start to see there's like cracks starting to form?
Never, actually. It all like kind of hit everyone by surprise. You know, what was happening wasn't something that we thought would happen, but you know, I would say things were brought up about 10-11 years ago with past relationships that went awry, and the girls on the other end of those relationships spoke to all of us and a bunch of his close friends about the weird shit that was happening. So I guess it started a while ago, but we didn't really like phone in on it.
So he had a dark side, but it was hidden. It's pretty much hidden to his partners, but everyone liked him so much that they just
order for Jerry.
We're at Hamburger Works, that they just sort of brushed it aside for the time being.
Yeah, it's almost like you find out
the
that
sewing machine's broken. All I got is Coke, Sprite, and Diet Coke out of the gun. Sprite.
It's almost like you find out that someone you know has like a totally different personality or different life. You know, it's pretty much what it felt like.
And then everything started to go like crazy last year, right? Like all the everything happened last year.
Yeah, it was like March 24th or 26th, and we were all just working at the warehouse. Myself, this other person named Brooklyn. Brooklyn had started working at the warehouse in like mid-January, late January, and then one day, it's a Tuesday, and we got done cupping some coffee, and we're getting things ready for the day, and Randy just like, all right, well, I'm gonna go look at some machines or go do something, and took off, and then we didn't see him for like 3 days.
Huh.
So, and I was calling this phone, went straight to voicemail, nobody could get a hold of him. And then we found out that he had been locked up, and it was weird because he was locked up in Surprise, and I know we don't have any accounts or any machine work or anything, so it's like, what the fuck are you doing out in Surprise in the middle of the day on a Tuesday when you're supposed to be like doing some shit? And then I tried to figure out, we were like, oh well, you know, let's bail Randy out. Randy I got a DUI in the middle of the day. That's weird, but whatever. And then they wouldn't tell us where he was because they had moved him from Surprise down to 4th Avenue.
Okay.
And it was like, okay, why are they shifting him around? This is weird, right? You know, I've gotten DUIs, I've been to jail a couple times for some shit. What was happening was not normal. And then we found out that he called Jessica and had her come down there. And I think he went with his daughter in Brooklyn. There was like a little group of them that went down there to the bonds person to bond him out, and it was $125,000. So, you know, then you're like, what the fuck did you do, bro?
And he got that money from them.
Well, so when you bond, you only need to put 10% down.
Okay, that's okay. Got it.
You know, so
the reason why I think this story has legs, because I've been following it, obviously, is because the woman, Jessica
Bueno,
and she wasn't too involved, according to her, with the coffee shop, and she's the head of the school board. So why do you think she would put that money up? It's like a crazy thing to do.
it is a crazy thing to do.
That's why I think
that's the question everybody wants to know. It's like
I wouldn't even do that to my family. Like most people, like you made your bed, now lay in it.
Well, yeah, and why wouldn't you call your family? Like, why do you call the head of the fucking...
John, your order is ready.
Why do you call the head of the school board? Like,
So
that's
then
just madness.
people are saying like they had like a secret thing with, I don't know. I'm not saying they did, but that's what it sort of looks like. But I don't know.
They're just super close. You know, they're business partners. I don't know if they're romantic. I don't think there ever was like a real romance there.
It was just a bad decision on her part. She wasn't thinking clearly.
I don't really know. I mean, when I look back and think of the circumstances of everything that's going on, there's something there between them. I don't fucking know what it is.
Yeah.
And like,
but you wouldn't even do that to your ex-girlfriend or boyfriend or whoever.
No.
So it doesn't even make sense when you think about it like that.
Exactly.
So,
what are you thinking?
Yeah.
What's your hot take?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't, just from an outsider, I only knew Randy, but I know like in work there's always weird stuff that people keep hidden, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? That I think that's what, because it would have just been a blurb on the news, but then like all this other weird stuff was around it, and they're still talking about it.
Yeah.
It's like became a major news item.
Yeah, it became a major item at the school board meeting this past Tuesday. I feel like that was the only item that was brought up, at least from all the comments.
And she's still there, right?
Yeah, so the thing about
I didn't know her, by the way, at all.
Yeah, the thing about that is the citizens of Phoenix are actually the only person that can fire her. She doesn't technically work for the state. So the Board of Education, or, you know, state of Arizona education system, can't remove her from power.
Oh, okay. That's
we have to get 2,000 people, and if you see this, there's 2,000 of you that live in Phoenix District 1. There's like 5 to 10,000 kids that go to school out there. There are definitely enough people in that grid. That involves Capitol and like 4 other schools. But yeah, you guys can get her removed. You can sign a petition. It is online.
And she was also under some fire too, because she was like, right before this, she was like closing schools down, right?
Yeah. But see, the thing, and then I don't have her back, but I understand the situation. She came into this position of power, I feel like, when the school system was already on fire.
So she was just doing what she had to do.
Yeah, someone was going to do it. The money's not there.
Okay. But she was sort of in the news because of that. And then
yes.
That wasn't really her fault. And then,
Order for Randy. Randy, your order is ready.
There he is.
It's like they're calling him for jail commissary.
And then, so she was already under the spotlight, and then once this happened, it just amplified it, I guess.
Yeah, she already had a target on her
Order for
back.
Guy, your order is ready.
Yeah, so she already had a bunch of parents pissed. There was already a petition going to get her removed from power before this happened, and then this happened. And yeah, it was just like all the storms that she created and was a part of, you know, whether it's education or business or whatever, they all like they smacked into each other. Fucking El Nino suck.
Dang. Well, a lot of people were surprised that Randy only got 1 year for this, because most people it's like a life sentence. So what's your opinion on that?
Okay, so check it out. He 1,000% was going to take this to trial. He told me he was going to take this to trial because he didn't think that he was guilty of doing anything. He believed that it was entrapment and it was fucked up. And I kept an eye on the whole court docket for months because you could view all of it on the Maricopa County Courts page. Like it's all the charges, the proceedings when they were happening, and all that shit. He kept getting. He had 2, maybe 3 different lawyer changes. 2 definitely.
By the way, I saw the same lawyer. It was that woman who defended that teacher who had sex with a student in Buckeye.
Oh, really? Yeah, not surprised.
Because I looked at the lawyer, and it's like that was her big claim to fame.
Okay. Yeah, so they kept filing continuances, getting it pushed back. I mean, there's things that happen that make the dates get pushed back, not necessarily the defendant all the time, because I've been through this process. But then you saw when, after the election happened and we passed that law making that crime a mandatory minimum, all of a sudden, boom, we're going through this. They got the deal signed. They're going to push this through before the year changes, at least the deal and shit. So he wouldn't get caught under the new fucking statute.
So he beat the law.
He beat the time frame, and he should have just pled guilty to begin with, and this would have been over.
But why was it only a year?
Because you can just plead that stuff down.
Oh, so he goes, I'm going to plead guilty.
Yeah, there were multiple charges, and then you plead some of the charges off if you're going to convict of this. And I truly believe in this circumstance that the only thing that the state really wants is, first and foremost, money. They're going to hit you with some fines and fees and restitution. He had a tether on his leg for the last year. Nobody probably saw it.
What is that?
It's an ankle monitor.
Oh, shit.
And nobody saw it because he's the only motherfucker that went through the summer of 2024 wearing jeans all summer because he had a fucking tether on his leg.
Oh.
He was on a curfew.
Wow.
From the minute they cut him loose from the tents until his trial's done.
Crazy.
And then, they wanted to slap him with the child predator tag for life because that's, the thing that they in these cases, I feel like they want the most. Is to just mark you.
So once you say, like, I'm going to pay you, I'm guilty, then they'll, like...
Well, there was probably a lot more sentencing on top of it, but then, lawyers do their things, and then they plead it down, and he did only get a year because he's white, and he's a business owner.
That's what everyone's saying?
Yeah, 100%.
So if it was like...
And he had a psychologist diagnose him with fucking autism, and he used that in there, too.
I saw that in the article.
Who knew Randy had autism?
And then
a lot of people knew.
And then they said, he was born with a umbilical cord around his neck, and he has anxiety and autism. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's like every person I know.
Everyone has autism now.
Yeah, we're not trying to fuck kids.
Yeah, exactly.
No, a lot of people with autism, they ain't doing a nasty shit. I'm fucking use autism for that.
That was a crazy paragraph when I read that.
Real shit, though, right?
I know.
Like, from what I gathered, like, I guess when people confronted Randy, like, did you do this? He would just, like, totally cut them off and block them.
Are you talking about, like, online?
Yeah.
Oh, I blocked him, for sure. But, when this all went down, we had some endearing conversations that were really personal, like in the first week or so. And then, it just became very, very apparent to me that he was never going to own this shit. And he was never going to admit that it was his fault. That's always the cop's fault. It's always the situation's fault. It's always somebody else's fault but his.
That's what, like, if people, I think if people would be a little more forgiving, I don't know, because this is serious, but if you just sort of, like, took responsibility, and it might be over, but it wouldn't have, like, blown up to this level.
Yeah, I think there was definitely a way to handle this whole situation and not come out, like, so burned in the community and, like, with friends and family. Like, he was definitely more concerned with keeping himself out of jail than what was going to happen before and after jail.
Yeah.
And from the very first conversation I had with him, he kept referring to this as a victimless crime. So I know he was in jail for 3 days before anybody actually talked to him. And he had already started to come up with a plan of how he was going to flip this and how he was going to spin this. Because he knew it was going to be public. Like, there's no way you have that much business and recognition around a city like Phoenix and it not get around. So the spin was on. And he's very wrong. It's not a victimless crime. There's a lot of fucking victims here.
And who knows what else happened in the past.
Exactly. This is the only time he got caught.
Because, like, imagine, like, of everything that happens, maybe 10% of the stuff in general people know about.
Yeah.
Just not with Randy, but just, like, anything.
Yeah, as a rule of thumb. Yeah. And he had gotten caught in January too.
I sort of saw something. What was that about?
Same fucking shit.
For minors?
I don't know, because it was just a citation. I think it was a misdemeanor. He paid like a $500 ticket for soliciting. So he may have solicited a fucking cop. Okay. An adult cop. I don't know the circumstances. But then I found out later that he had done 10 days in jail as a part of that ticket as well.
And then he just he did it.
Yeah,
so he wasn't stopping. He wasn't.
No, 2 months later, same shit.
He wasn't going to stop. So just like what pisses me off, just like in Phoenix, why I stopped believing in Phoenix is like, because like this has happened like 4 times already with minors, with different people. I mean, and like the community is so like they're so fast to get political on like other like national stuff, which is fine.
Yeah.
But then when like real awful stuff happens, they're all quiet. So that's do better. But anyways.
Yeah, I mean it's
that's what pisses me off, and they're all friends. You know, like Lon Gnome was a friend, and Ernesto, and now Randy. It's like, why does this keep happening here? Like it seems a lot more than other communities.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It may be, that's the short list of people in coffee alone in Arizona that have been called out. I started to think maybe it's something to do with coffee, and like you always constantly have like young people working around all the time. So like, it might be a place for these dudes to like hide and do business. And
it's like politics, like it attracts like that type of scummy person because like that's what they want.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense.
And psychologically, they may not even know that's why they're there. But. Yeah,
because Randy, he had like a physics degree or something, and it's like, what are you doing in coffee? Yeah. Which I always liked that he was in coffee, but
I think it was like
maybe that was
medical biology or something like that.
It's like, so now maybe it attracts that type of person who is there anything else you want to add?
Your order's ready, Eric.
I want Eric to know that his order is ready.
Now, why did you? So you're speaking out because you're just warning people like this is going to happen. This might happen, and watch out.
Well,
in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. First, I don't see a path where either, Randy or Jessica, doesn't just hope that something bigger and more explosive happens, and then in a year or 2 they can just walk right back into where they were.
So you want to end it right now so it doesn't happen again?
Yeah, I don't think that either one of them should own a business or be in politics just because they're not mentally capable of being in charge of someone else's destiny.
Yeah,
like they can go fucking work at Fry's and be little nasties, and that's fine, but you can't be in public service, and you can't own businesses and control people's well-being.
Yeah. And then Xanadu was like, again, it was like they're really like, whenever there's always a political message on the wall and this and that. Yeah. So I thought like,
order for Gary.
Just some
Gary,
of these people,
ready.
They do that to distract from what they're actually doing. Because like Law Known Books was the same way.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, these people should not be in control of anyone. So I guess the message of this is just like, be careful. Don't give, don't 100% the benefit of the doubt. Do your due diligence. Buy your coffee and leave. No, I don't know. Maybe not that, but any final words?
Just always make sure in these situations that...
Oh, this is... No. Dang.
Huh?
All right.
Just make sure in these situations that, you live in a community, you got to monitor it. The news ain't always going to monitor it. The government ain't going to monitor it. The cops ain't going to monitor it. So we got to put our own checks and balances on people that are fucking up all the time.
Well, thanks for joining us for the first ever Food Dude podcast, Deacon.
Oh, hell yeah, my pleasure. This podcast, I'm going to give this a 37 out of 10.
Thanks. And we started with a great guest, so we have to follow. I don't know how we're going to follow this up. Sheesh.